All right. Are we live? Okay. Hello, everyone. Super excited to have our one and only marketing director, Martha, or as we endearingly call her, Mama Martha, on our team to talk to us all about personal branding and all the stuff that comes with that. Today is actually going to be quite interactive, so get ready to share your ideas, thoughts, work out your strategies. This is kind of like a interactive session, right? So get ready to type in the chat as soon as we prompt you if you'd like your idea to be heard and potentially discussed, but probably not, because I know Martha has a ton of amazing content for us that we're gonna pack in a really short amount of time. So I will just kind of be a wallflower here on this webinar today, monitoring the chat for her. And really quick introductions, as you guys know, I'm Elaine, the creator manager here at RockPorch. My background is I was a full-time content creator for 7 years, and now I have the opportunity with RockPorch to manage content creators, which is amazing, to be on the back end of things and help our creators grow and learn how to monetize and grow their own businesses, right? So if you could put in the chat right here, describe your personal brand in 3 emojis, and what would they be? So if you could drop that in the chat, that would be amazing. And seriously, thank you guys so much for being here at the start of the year, making good decisions and learning about personal branding. So let's see who we have here. All right, well, we have Missy from Vancouver, Canada. Missy has not missed a single one of our, actually no, JK, I think you missed one of our Creator Connect calls because she was on her boat. So thank you for being here, Missy. We have Marie from Squamish, Teal Albert from Texas. Okay, it's snowing in Texas. Martha's in Texas too. How's the weather?
Freezing.
Yeah, so everyone's indoors. It was -8 here in Chicago. So yes. We got Julian from Washington State. Woo woo. Leslie from Portland.
Well, from Morocco.
Do we have some? Oh, Emmanuel from Morocco. Awesome. I need to see these emojis though. We got Megan from Tucson, Arizona. We actually, Megan, let's connect, because we might actually be in Tucson, literally Arizona, in March for TravelCon. So stay tuned. Another Washington State, RJ. Let's see, Juniper, Dita, yay, from St. Pete, which is, I think it's also snowing down there too. All right, we have Elise. Love the airplane emoji with the yoga emoji. Ooh, we have some hiking peeps. Leslie. Marie looks like a rock climber. And yeah, all the outdoor things. Love it. RJ from Bonnie Lake, Wisconsin. Oh, sorry, just kidding. Washington. Emmanuel, traveling the world and camping. Ooh, Juniper, what is this little Minecraft emoji that you have? You see that little
I know, I saw that. I was curious too.
Juniper, you're gonna have to explain that one for us so that we can understand. We got Dita, yep, dog and van life. Another Canada, Miguelita. Oh, I was just on the phone with you, Miguela. Renee. Ooh, 4 emojis. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Juniper said it's a big gamer.
Oh, gamer. Oh, got it. Yeah.
Sorry, you're talking to non-gamers here.
But you got it, Elaine. You said Minecraft.
Yeah. Yes. Well, cool. Well, I thank you guys for sharing. This is exactly what we want. We want interaction. We want all that good stuff. But on that note, I'm going to direct everything back to Martha and have Martha take the floor, and then me become a wallflower. Okay, go.
Hi, everybody. As it says here, welcome. Pat yourself on the back, because being here is the best step you can take towards taking yourself seriously and growing your creator business. So we're super happy to be here to help you. I will give you a little bit of an overview of myself, just so you kind of know what my background is and why it's kind of worth listening to me. But I've been in marketing for almost 25 years. And, back in the day, when I first started, there was digital marketing did not exist. Social media did not exist. So I kind of, started out with all the traditional advertising channels and worked in advertising agencies and marketing agencies for years. And then I freelanced for years. But I've always had a strong focus on working with fast moving, high growth companies and businesses and individuals who needed some help kind of taking their businesses to the next level. So I've done a lot of things, but really my passion and what I really truly love doing is brand strategy. And so today I'm kind of leveraging that. I do a lot of research, a lot of reading, and a lot of observing. And I'd like to say that I've learned a few things over the years, so I'm happy to share them with you today. And Elaine, as she said, it's going to be a wallflower, but I'm sure you're going to interject. And I'd love for you guys to, if you have questions, et cetera, go ahead and throw them in the chat while we're moving through this. There is kind of a lot to go over, and if I'm real honest with you, brand strategy and personal brand strategy, it's a really big kind of subject, but we're going to take it from kind of, level one today and kind of go over the basics and make sure everyone understands kind of really what a personal brand is and what it isn't. And then help you start to figure out exactly what your personal brand is, because that's why you're here, right? Just to figure that out and understand who you are and what you're talking about and who you're talking to. And then we're also going to talk about taking that personal brand and implementing that into a strategy that works for you to help you grow your community and your business. So that being said, let's get into it. All right. So to start off, this is a quote that I think actually our CEO, I think it was him who said this, and I'm sure he's not the only one who said it, but I think it's really important to start off with this, right? Because that's what we're here to do. Building your personal brand means building your community. And when you focus on building your community, everything else will follow. And when I say everything else, I mean affiliate sales, brand deals, higher visibility, all the things that you're looking to get, all of that stems from focusing on building an authentic community around you. And especially a community of people who really connect with you, not people who are kind of fake followers. And then building strong community starts with understanding your purpose, the unique value that you bring to the table, and your audience. And that's really just kind of the very basics of a personal brand. So let's get into it. Personal brand overview. So what is a personal brand? Personal brand is who you are, what you love, and who you're talking to. It's your reputation. It's the same online and offline. The way that you appear to the people you love, the people you don't know, etc. It's how people talk about you when you're not in the room. It is not, and this is important, I want to make note of here. Building a personal brand is not a fake thing to do. It's not inauthentic, right? It's actually about showing up as you and exactly who you want to be. And then lastly, it's the difference between letting life happen to you and making life happen for you. In other words, you're taking control of what you're putting out there. You're doing it with intention, and you're doing it consistently. Okay, so why it matters. So yes, you're like, great, all this is good and great. Why do I care, right? I'm doing just fine as I am. Well, the reason why you want to build your personal brand and you really want to focus on that is for lots of reasons. But to start off with, it's control. It helps you be the boss of your future. You're betting on yourselves here. You're taking a step that's going to put you in control of how you grow your creator business. And when you own your own personal brand, you get to write your story and not somebody else. Second, visibility, right? So it's going to help you stand out in a crowded online world. It's going to help you make a name for yourself. It's going to help open doors that you might not otherwise have. Stronger community. When you have a personal brand that you own and that you are nurturing, it's going to help you attract the right people, not just random followers, right? That's what you want, because stronger community, not necessarily bigger community, is what's important. You don't need 100,000 followers to be a successful creator. What matters is your engagement and the people who are following you, that they love you and support you and they become your super fans. That's what's important. You get stronger engagement, then you have better data to prove your value for more monetization opportunities. And then fourthly, clarity. This is something I think that doesn't get talked about a lot in personal branding, but I think it's really important because once you have a clear understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you're talking to, every decision that you make about your content and about your business becomes easier because it all is going to align back to one common goal. So that's really kind of the work at the beginning is worth it because it makes everything easier in the end. Oh, this is just a quote that I thought I would share that I read in a book recently. It said, this is a book about a person who was kind of describing their personal branding experience. And she said, before I felt like I was floating, like I had no direction, that I wasn't rewarded for the work I was doing, and that the work I was doing wasn't meaningful. I didn't feel as if my life was going anywhere. And then, of course, post understanding that personal brand that this person had meant they were able to take control of that and that they had direction for where they had to go next and what their next steps were going to be. All right, here's a quote this was actually in my inbox this morning, and I thought, well, that's serendipitous. So I figured I'd just throw it in here. It says, social media is your storefront. More than ever, your platforms need to clearly communicate what you do, how you do it, and why it matters. Can someone land on your Instagram and know in 5 seconds, and you can insert YouTube, Instagram, website, etc., and know in 5 seconds what you're about. If not, it's time for a refresh. And that is so true. Specialization, niching, being unique, knowing who you are, what you're doing, that's what matters. Being vanilla, being everything to everybody is not going to get you anywhere. All right, so first thing we're going to do is talk about the elements of a personal brand and your mission statement. And this is where we're going to, kind of get your pens and papers out because we're going to start doing some more interactive workshop elements here. Now we've gone over the basics. So get ready. So here are the 4 keys to a strong personal brand. Number 1, your story. Everyone has a unique story. Everyone has a unique combination of experience, skills, and personality. Everyone. It's a matter of finding out for you what that is and how that connects with your audience. Number 2, your expertise. What do you bring to the table? Are you a rock climbing expert? Are you a therapist? Are you an expert gardener? Whatever that is, that's your expertise. Number 3, your audience. Who do you actually want to connect with? Oh, sorry, I just saw that in the chat. I'm going to close my chat because I keep glancing over at it. Your audience. Who do you actually want to connect with? Again, like I just said a second ago, if you're trying to talk to everybody, you're not talking to anybody. So know who you're talking to. And then 4 is consistency. How often and where do you want to show up? And how you're showing up. Just in other words, like your visual identity, your voice, all the things that you're doing to portray who you are. So think about kind of internally when you think about if you don't want to think about your expertise, like what's something you're really good at that people often ask you about? If you don't know yet exactly what you want to focus on, think about that. What's something you're really good at that people often ask you about? And then think about this. Write down one thing that makes you unique and something only you can bring to the table. Maybe it's like for Dina, I could say right off the bat, I know exactly what makes you unique because you've been our creator connection. We've talked about this. She's got a really, really unique story she has to tell that she can connect with people on. That's the kind of thing you want to start thinking, wrapping your head around, okay? And again, you don't need to be a social media celebrity to have a successful personal brand. You just need to be you and know who you're talking to. Second, your story makes you unique, so you need to use it. And then 3, play the long game because consistency is everything. It's not a short game. Personal branding is not a short game. So just beware. Just saying. All right. Next. Here are the 5 elements to a personal brand. This is where we're going to start thinking I want you to kind of get your creative juices flowing for yourself here. And you don't have to write anything down right now. We'll have a few minutes after this slide to kind of delve into this on a personal level for each one individually. But I'll just kind of go through what these different elements of a personal brand are. Number 1 is your why. This is like your purpose, right? Your vision. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? What drives you? 2, your values. What are the non-negotiables in your life? Like, what do you stand on? What do you believe in? It could be, sustainability. It could be kindness, loving others, being kind to everyone. It's just going to be different for every single person. Number 3, your passions. What brings you joy? What fulfills you? These are things you already have a pretty good understanding of, I'm sure. And then 4, your strengths. What are you best at doing? Everyone has natural abilities and strengths, so you're going to want to play to those. And then number 5, your legacy. And I think this is a really good thing to think about. Like, what do you want to be remembered for? And I don't mean like leave behind something to leave behind when you're dead. I mean, like, how do you want people to remember you? Like, what do you want your impact to have been in this world? We're going to take a minute now and look at a couple of examples of a couple of creators who have done a good job of building their personal brands. And these are literally, these are random people I just found online. I don't know them. I don't believe they're RockPorch creators, but I just found them online. I thought I'd share them. Okay. Because they stood out to me as two people who had done a good job, just building a personal brand, and they felt relevant to you guys. So number 1, this guy is Ryan Van Duzer. Some of you may know him. Here I've got, I spent like 4 minutes kind of going through his different channels, right? And this is what I came up with. And this is what I want to show to you. Just based on those, 3 or 4 minutes I spent online, we know several things about this guy. Number 1, he's a little bit nuts, right? 2, he values kindness. He values helping others. He values the outdoors. He believes adventure can be found in everything. He exudes excitement in every single thing that he does. He isn't afraid to be vulnerable. See over here on the far right, reflections on failure. 2024 was not the best year of my life. He's consistent and he's repetitive, right? He's posting the same types of content over and over and over again because they're resonating with his audience, and he's growing a really solid community around it. Excuse me, one sec. I'm sorry, I'm going to mute. 1 minute, sorry. As an aside, I went on the first vacation in I don't know how long, a couple of weeks ago. I got back and then I got sick the next day. And so I apologize. I apologize.
No, thank you for still doing this regardless. We appreciate you. Look at how she shows up, sick and all.
So sorry. All right, let's look at the next one. Whew. All right, this is a gal, and her name is, I can't remember her name, but she's not using her name as kind of her place in the world. She's using this hike.oregon, right? Now, this is a different approach. So that's why I kind of want to use this one, because it is a different approach. It's not her brand that she's growing to join this hike.oregon brand, but it's backed by her personal brand because she really is truly hike.oregon. And here's what we know. I did the same thing for her. I did a quick online kind of search through her channels real fast and see what we've got. And it's the same idea, right? You can tell just from looking at these things, kind of what she's about, who she's talking to. She posts the same kind of content over and over again. And she's growing a really strong following around it. She tells you here in her profile, showing you the best places to hike around Oregon. She's super niche, right? She's hiking in Oregon. That's it. That's what she talks about. And then she says, you can see here her purpose, helping you become a more confident hiker and backpacker. You know what you're there for. You know what you're going to get out of being her friend. Okay. So, and then again, these 2 little quotes are, screenshots down here are just showing you that she's opening up about herself to her people. It's surgery day. She's filming an interview with her husband. Ask whatever questions you want. So she's just really interacting and building community around this channel. Okay, so let's start working on your own personal branding elements. You got your why, your values, your passions, your strengths, and your legacy. So grab a pen, spend a few minutes just jotting down thoughts. There are no right or wrong answers here. It's really just about exploration. And to be honest, the way this usually goes is you're going to kind of I would just write down whatever comes to your mind. And then when we're done, kind of go back through it and you can kind of start marking things off and start clarifying things for yourself. I'm going to put up on the next slide, just while we spend a few minutes doing this, kind of a sample that we put together of this fake guy named Riley. Wild Roads with Riley is his handle, right? And this is just totally an example to give you an idea of kind of what you're looking to put together. So under your why, what drives you? values, non-negotiables in life, passions, what lights you up, strengths, what are you naturally good at, and then legacy, what do you want to be remembered for? So cue the music. I don't know how to do that.
You can also write in the chat. I'm just writing the little, you can kind of like verbally process with us as well as you're
Yep.
coming up with different things, and we can kind of discuss it if you would like.
Yep. And also questions. If you have any questions, you can pop those in there and we can do that. And maybe Elaine, I'd love to know kind of, because Elaine was a creator for years. And I mean, maybe you could kind of give us an overview, maybe of kind of what when you were doing that and you were really growing that community around you, maybe a little insight as to how you approached it.
Yeah, I love that you had, the two examples of like one person coming from like almost like a brand perspective, like the Hike Oregon, and the one like a personal brand, because they are quite different in terms of how you show up. So I had two brands, which was basically a personal brand, which was Elaine Rao, and then my blog / educational brand, which was Lady Boss Blogger. And I had to keep them quite separate because of the content that I posted on there. And so I had different whys, different values, and almost like a different direction for both. And so I think that would be number one is figuring out kind of which direction you kind of want to take. But if you want to take it in both directions, you can as well. So it's not necessarily both either or, but you can do both and. Just know that it's like double the work.
Right.
So.
Well, I think something that's kind of I think that's important to note there is, everyone's at a different point in their content creator journey. And so, if you're just starting out, you're going to want to start simple, right? You want to keep things as simple as possible. You want to stick to, you don't want to try to be dominating every single social channel. You want to really start understanding on a small level what you're doing here. You're doing it on one channel, right? You want to really understand what you're doing once in one, and then to start expanding. And you can expand your audience over time, right? Like if you want to start real small and be real niche, and then expand over time, that's another good way to do it.
Yeah, something what I kind of did was I did a little bit. I started broad actually, and then I went narrow. So with the Instagram, it was just I focused on Instagram, and I was doing products or product reviews, but then it slowly ended up being Amazon products only because like my audience was. And then with like the blog,
was it because you figured out like this is what's really resonating with my audience?
Exactly, and resonating with me too. I feel like
you
have to like learn your audience, but also like as you're growing, it's like where do you want to take? Because if you purely just listen to the audience,
it doesn't work. It's inauthentic, right?
Yeah, because you kind of lose yourself a little bit in the process. And I think with like my other like business channel, it was more so like instead of focusing on like teaching people everything, it was teaching people blogging, specific blogging. So
yeah. And that's, I think that what you just said is a really big part of it, right? It's because you have to find that intersection of what feels authentic to you and resonates with your audience.
Yes. Yeah. And I think something that's interesting too is like what you thought maybe is like what is your superpower is maybe something that like for example, I think like when at least when I started the blog, I was like I didn't realize that was something that I was like really good at until like the Huffington Post researcher like wait, like how did you start your blog? I was like, oh, what? So I think that like sometimes when you just put things out there, it's going to attract the people that like, and I think you're going to learn your special abilities because they're sometimes when you're so good at something, it just comes so naturally. So I think like the more you put out, the more you're going to see what people are attracted to. Oh, yay. We have some people writing that. Let's see. Emmanuel wants to inspire families through exploring, connecting with cultures, thriving in the outdoor adventures. Okay. Love it. Rock climbing. Let's see. Guy who helped people achieve a goal. Okay. Yeah. I love that. So like really through mentorship in the outdoors. Do you want to, let's see, Marie, one thing I've always wondered in the summer, I've mostly been climber, two things. How can I niche down and make it into one? Oh, okay. This question from Martha.
Well, there's a little bit of a hard one to answer without a little more context. There is definitely a way to do that. saying that being a little bit difficult. You're probably the same boat as a lot of our creators because, right, a lot of the things that you're doing are going to be based on the season that you're in. And I think what you may want to do is dig down into that a little bit deeper, and figure out that beyond like the actual activities, what else is your personal brand built around? So, are you helping, I'm sorry, I don't know you, Marie, but you could be a mom who has a family who is helping, show people how to climb with their kids. I don't know what it is. So maybe there's something else that's going to be that continuous thread, no matter what season it is, that's maybe lead that strategy a little stronger.
Yeah. And if Marie, if you could drop your social handle so that we could also check it out, that would probably, a visual would be helpful. Yeah, Leslie says she wants to find community, spread kindness no matter where she goes, and or how long you might be there as well, and finding adventure in every day. Okay, similar to your the personal the guy that you just showed. Miguela says,
all right, we're going to spend just one more minute here on this, and then we're going to move on to the next one because I want to make sure we get to everything.
Yeah, and Miguela's why is love having hunter's dream turn into a reality where you can truly realize the wow in life.
The wow in life, I like that.
Yeah. Oh, here, Mountain Marie.
And also just as an aside to everyone here, Elaine is awesome to help talk personal strategy too. And so if you ever want to get on a call with her and kind of go through your own, little, like very specifically your personal channels, that's a great thing to do. And she can, maybe Elaine, you could pop your calendar into the chat so that people could click on that if they want to schedule a call with you to kind of go through the details and nitty gritty and kind of really finalize and work out their strategy after the call.
Let's do that, Marie. So sign up for a time with me, Marie, on that calendar, and whoever else wants to, because I know that Martha probably wants to move on to the next slide.
I don't mean to rush anyone, but I do want to make sure we get to everything.
Yes, you have a lot of we have to get through this. Yes.
The next thing we're going to do is more workshop material. So moving on real quick here, putting it all together. This is your mission statement. So what you do here now, once you've kind of figured out what these different brand elements are, your why, your purpose, your values, all of those things, then you're going to take the context of all of those and you're going to put it all together into your personal mission statement. And the reason that we put together a mission statement is because this mission statement is going to sit at the top of everything else you do. Everything, your content, the way you show up, the way, the partnerships you choose to have, etc. Everything should fall under that mission statement. And if any of those things don't align with that mission statement, they're not helping you build your personal brand. It's a really good checks and balances for you to help you make decisions easier. So there's a formula you can use, and this is a kind of a starter formula. This doesn't mean this is how it has to be necessarily, but a good way to start thinking about coming up with your mission statement is to follow this formula in this orange box in the top. I will blank by blank to blank. I will do an action. I will do something by, insert skills to achieve what, right? So we made it up the example guy Riley we had. I made up a mission statement for him, and it says, I will build Wild Roads with Riley into the go-to resource for sustainable van life by sharing my journey, providing actionable tips, and collaborating with aligned brands to help others embrace off-grid, non-traditional living and sustainability while creating financial freedom for myself. Excuse me. So take a minute, use what you've already you have it going on in your brain to start coming up with a mission statement for yourself and throw it into the chat, and we can take a look at some of those and see kind of where we land, right? I think here's the kind of a check and balance too for when you've come up with the right mission statement. When you read it back to yourself, it should be like, hell yes, that's me. That's what I'm doing. It should give you like excitement. It should give you a reason to get up in the morning, right? Like, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. If you ever worked in a corporate setting, every successful company has a very solid mission statement, and everything that they do falls under that mission statement. That's how they stay focused, and that's how they grow. The same exact thing applies to your own personal brand. That's exactly how it works, and that's how you know and how you're going to connect with the right people.
Yeah, and Dita actually, I mean, it wasn't necessarily in the formula, but she, because she did go through literally a personal strategy, basically a personalized content strategy with Martha and I and a couple other creators on our Wednesday Creator Connect call. And so look at her, just literally just having her statement right out there, helping get more women outside and living an adventure-free, alcohol-free life with their pups. Concise, beautifully written, you know exactly what she does, you know exactly her audience and what she's all about. And there is quite a niche to that, right? So alcohol free, pups, and women, right? And of course, all encompassed by the outdoors. So love that. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, continue jumping on these webinars, these Wednesday Creator Connect calls to get clarity. Dita, yeah, has been very, very consistent, as well as, you know, Missy on our, and it shows, right? You know, she's able to deliver her message just like that. So let's see who else.
Let's plug for Creator Connect calls.
Yes, it's Creator Connect calls. If y'all don't know, it happens every single Wednesday unless we have a webinar, and it's always Wednesday at noon Central Time. So don't miss those.
It's a lot of fun, and you get to know other creators, so it's good.
Yeah. I still remember that one time when it was Dita, she's like, they're so good. That one time when everyone exchanged emails and social handles. Do you remember that one call, Martha? That was awesome. It was, just, there are always different creators. Of course, you'll always see Dita. Dita is guaranteed to be there. So
and Missy.
And Missy. Yeah, and Jennifer, which I'm surprised she's actually not on. But yeah, I guess we can't attend them every single one.
So, you know, again, on this mission statement, like, this is not something that this putting all this together and really, really feeling confident in it. It takes thought, and it takes some time, right? So no one expects you to be able to put this together in the time frame of this webinar. It's you're going to want to go back, and you're going to really want to put some time and, you know, emotional thought and use your brain a little bit and put down all the things, put down the possibilities. Just go, explore a little bit, right? Explore with your own thoughts. Ask your friends, like for instance, on the strengths part of the brand strategy. I always tell people, if you're having trouble figuring out what your strengths are, ask your friends. Like, what your friends, like, what would your friends say you're really good at doing? Like, my friends would probably tell me I'm good at, you know, talking too much. I don't know.
Everything.
No, but you know, listening to other people is really helpful too. So consider that as an option for your strengths. And again, if you want to get with Lane and talk about that, talk about these with her more specifically, and I'm happy to help too, but she's probably more available for that than I am. All right, so this part is the first part. This is kind of like what you're going to put down on paper, and what you're going to have on a Post-it note at the top of your computer. You're going to put it on your notes in your phone, so you can always go back and look at it, right? This is at the top of everything else you're going to do. But here's the part that is all good and great. Like, okay, great. So I write these things down. Like, what does that matter? Like, how does that impact anything? Well, that's where you have to have a strategy behind your personal brand to actually implement it. Because without that, you don't really have anything else. You just have something on paper, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. How do you use these elements and use this brand mission? Personal mission statement, to be strategic about how to build a brand and how to build your community. So now we're going to move on to this part of it, starting with this. So there are kind of so you're going to remember again, taking your mission statement and the key elements of your personal brand, plus your brand strategy. That's how you grow. So the 4 elements of this personal brand strategy is going to be a goal, an audience, content and visual identity, and then your distribution and your engagement, right? So your goal is what you're trying to achieve. this is a little bit different than in your mission statement when you have, or they might overlap. Be like, are you doing this so that you can monetize your content? Are you doing this so that you can get brand deals? Are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Do you want to be able to pick your kids up from school at 3 p.m.? What are you trying to get out of this? Your audience, who needs to know you? Your audience is everyone's going to have a different audience based on what they're trying to achieve. Content and visual identity, how do you show up and differentiate, right? You've got to stand out. You've got to be unique. And then what do you stand for as part of that as well? And then distribution and engagement, building meaningful connections in the right places. To do that, to come up with this kind of personal brand strategy, it's not complicated. I don't want to imply that it's complicated at all. But the easiest way, kind of the most basic, kind of fundamental way to easily come up with this brand strategy is to work backwards, right? So work backwards from here. So start with your goal. What are you trying to achieve? Okay, who do I need to attract in order to reach that goal? And then move backwards from there. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So we're going to start with our goal here. Again, we're going to use this fake guy, Riley, that we came up with earlier. So number one, Riley's goal: to achieve financial freedom that allows me to explore the world full time without being tied to a traditional 9-to-5 lifestyle, and to inspire 1 million people to see the possibilities in themselves. Okay. This is Riley's goal. Number two, okay, who does Riley need to attract in order to achieve that? Everyone's going to look different. For instance, say I was a therapist who believed that outdoor exploration was a key to curing depression. Okay. And I wanted to leverage that platform to grow my in-person business. And then I wanted to have a national presence one day as a leader in my field, right? The people that kind of person is going to want to attract are going to be very different than the ones that Riley wants to attract. That person is going to want to attract people struggling with depression, people with close geographic proximity, people who've been taking pills forever and nothing's changed. It's going to look different for every single person. And then once you have figured out what your audience is, what are their struggles? What are their dreams? What are their aspirations? How do they speak? This kind of information is what's going to inform the next piece of your puzzle, which is your content, right? Because if you don't know where to start, if you don't know what your people need from you, if you don't understand what their struggles are, you're not going to understand the intersection between the two of you. So when people start to see and relate to you on that level, that you're understanding what their struggles are, you understand their dreams, you understand their aspirations, because you're speaking to them, that's how they really start to connect and start to trust you. And that's how you grow your community. And so Riley's content pillars here. So if this is the audience, these are the kind of things this audience needs to hear about, right? Practical and relatable tips, experience-based storytelling, gear reviews, engagement-boosting content. See, this is not complicated stuff. These are very basic, and everyone's going to look different. Again, I did want to share with you real quick just exactly how. I'm going to see I don't know if this is going to work on this shared screen or not, but Emmanuel says Riley's goal sounds like mine. I like it. Yes, Elaine, that's a great point. If you don't know what your audience needs are, ask them, right? Do research on your audience. This is a super, super important part of this. Guessing doesn't do you any good. And, go through the feeds of your most loyal followers or the people you're trying to attract. What are they talking about? Who are they talking to? Who else do they follow, etc. Those are all good ways to ask them. Another thing you can do is there's something called Ask the Public. Neil Patel, who's an SEO expert, bought that company a year or two ago, and they so you can use the free version, which gives you, I think, like 30 free searches a month. If that's how it used to be, I'm not sure anymore. But you can literally go in there and you can Google terms, and it will, or like you can put in there a certain topic and it will pop up for you like the most searched terms and phrases for that specific thing. That will give you some really pretty easy data for your audience as well. I'm going to try real quick to show you this. I don't know if it's going to work on this. I do it like this. Okay. I'm going to flip down real fast too. Sorry. Okay, here. This is how I wanted to show you this real quick, just to show you on that example I just showed about the content, like for Riley, right? There were 4 different pillars. One of those was teaching and telling. And this is a way to just think about a real easy way for you to go, okay, teach and tell, sure, that's all good and great, but let's how does that work, right? So that you branch that out, right, into different categories. Step-by-step van conversion guide. These become as real pillars, right? Minimalist packing for long-term travel. How to stay safe while traveling solo. And then from there, of course, you branch out into all the different things. For safe while staying safe while traveling solo, essential safety gear, apps for staying. I can't read what that says. Sorry. Self-defense techniques, all the different things that you might come up with. And then in the same vein, this is the same idea, right, for the experience pillar that he's going to want to leverage. About how I fund my adventures, lessons from living on the road, biggest mistakes I made, and then branch out from there. That's how you start developing your content pillars at the beginning of that. So back here. Okay, so Riley, back here to Riley. Riley's content pillars, he's got those figured out. Then he's going to go to his distribution and engagement strategy. So where does his audience live? Where are they hanging out? You probably already know this, right? You already have a community. So where are you most successful? That's where you're going to start. Again, start small. If you're at level 1 in this journey, start small and then branch out from there. And then showing up authentically, right? So showing up authentically in this content that we're talking about, in this strategy that we're talking about. Showing up authentically means everything you post online is in alignment with your personal brand and mission statement. So as I said before you do anything, before you post anything, does this positively build and protect my reputation as the person I want to be known for in this space? If the answer is yes, post it. If it's not, don't post it. Another good guidepost for content, right? So showing up authentically, how you look. What does your profile say about you? How do you show up online? That means in, all the different ways, visually, what your words are in your profile, how you appear. If you are an SEO expert, you're not going to show up the same way as a skiboarding expert's going to show up online. I think you all probably have a really good understanding of that already. How you act. This one's a no-brainer, right? Are you walking the talk? Are you doing what you say you're going to do? If you're preaching about if you say you believe in sustainability, are you talking about sustainability and giving people real ways to implement that in their own lives? And then the second part of that is, are you sharing your enthusiasm, right? Because if you're passionate about something, that passion, that enthusiasm is going to transfer to other people, and that's going to result in engagement, and it's going to resonate with people. And I said this yesterday to Elaine, but one thing I think people forget about when they're creating good content is when you do a video, for instance, if it's not done right unless you feel a little bit silly doing it. Like it doesn't, your enthusiasm does not transfer the same way as it does in person as it does online. So amp it up a notch, right? Talk like you had a cup of espresso. Like build it up. Like that's how you show people excitement. You need a little bit more energy to the table when you're online than you do when you're in person. And then how you give value. Share what makes you special and what makes you unique. Value comes in all sorts of different forms. Value comes in educational, comes in inspirational, comes in entertaining ways, and entertaining as entertaining value. You can do all of these different things that you can share all these different types of content. You don't always have to be one thing. And then again, we said this before, but giving value. How are you unique in this world? Everyone is unique. You have a combined unique experience, personal experience. You have your own expertise, and you have your own personality. So where within those things, what is the intersection of all those to identify your unique value that you're going to bring to the table? And then what you believe. Are you sharing your values? Sharing your values builds trust. We all know the people you're friends with in real life, you have common values. That's how we connect with people. The same goes online. That's what you're doing. You're making friends. It's about making friends. It's not about followers. So sharing your values builds trust with your audience. And don't be afraid to not share your values because you're afraid of being polarizing. Like it's okay to not attract everyone. Everyone's not going to like you, and that is perfectly fine. You don't want everyone to like you. I mean, if you did, that you know, how it wouldn't really make any sense. Does everyone like you in real life? I mean, I have a friend who has a shirt that says, "I'm not for everyone." That's what you need to remember, and it's okay. Here's a mug too, kind of funny. And then the fifth one on here: be real and be vulnerable. This is something we all know is true and something that's very hard to do, and that is being vulnerable online. And it is about sharing what does work, what does not work for you, what you have learned, where you've struggled. And that's I'm not saying you need to have diarrhea of the mouth every time you get online, but peeling back those layers of who you are so that your audience can get to know you over time, that builds trust, and that's how you resonate with people. All right, so again, just to take what we've learned here about the kind of, you know, let me go back here one sec. Sorry, I didn't get through that very well. Oh, wait, sorry. That one. Okay, so we had the goal, audience, content, and distribution and engagement, right? Those are kind of our 4 basic things here. So we're going to take that and go, okay, here is how you put together a strategy for your content. This is your blueprint, right? You've got 5 different, sorry, not 4, it says 4 on there. These aren't 5 separate entities, right? They work together to form a content strategy. So goal-driven content. This is on there to make sure you are in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish. You know, again, tying back to that goal, tying back to your mission statement. 2, audience-centered. Great content is going to connect with your audience by tapping into their dreams, by solving their problems, evoking nostalgia, or showing a new lifestyle or a desirable lifestyle, right? Focus on what matters to you. Focus on what matters to your audience and feels authentic to you, just like Elaine and I were talking about, the interconnection between those 2 things. And then shape your content around that. And then once you figure out what works, you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it. Content mix. Okay. How do you know, like, okay, well, how much of my content do I need to be talking about, like, how to rock climb versus me as a person? Everyone's is going to be different, and you have to figure out what that is. It's really going to depend on you and your audience, etc. But a good place to start, if you don't know, is to think about it like this: 70% kind of expert passion focused and 30% personal focused. That's just a starting point if you don't already know what works best for you. And I'm going to skip down here to what says the second number 4, which is actually number 5, which is learn and adapt. And that's part of what I'm talking about there. You have to learn and adapt. You have to figure out what's working for you. You have to look at your data. You have to understand over time what works for you. Don't worry about individual pieces of content, because they don't matter. Things are going to fail. Things are going to do great. What matters is the cumulative of all of those things. What are the trends? What kind of things can you identify that work or don't work consistently over time? And then again, consistency and engagement, showing up, share your message over and over and over again. Repetition is key. You don't need to be original all the time. You're not going to be original all the time. In fact, only around 3% of your audience is really going to see every piece of content that you put out there. Like, that's nothing. You need to share the same thing over and over again. You want to be known for something. If you don't keep telling people what they're there to hear, they're not going to think of you as being known for anything. So you have to be repetitive. It makes you memorable. And people forget. They see a gazillion pieces of content every single day. And I know a lot of our creators have marketing backgrounds. You'll know, like, if you want to be remembered, someone has to see you like 7 to 10 times say the same thing. So you just have to be repetitive and have to be consistent with it. Okay, next up is starter's guide in developing a balanced content mix. After this, we're gonna send this deck out to everybody after the fact. At the end of it, it'll kind of break down that 70-30 mix a little bit for you if you want a little more guidance on that. So I'm not gonna go there now, but you can look at it when you get it in your email afterwards. All right, so then I want to talk about a little bit about building community, right? So we keep talking about how we're doing this, but like, okay, the basics here. Building community is what we're trying to do, because with community comes everything else, right? As we said at the beginning, Focus on community and everything else will follow. The bottom line is you're seeking friends, not followers. That is the very bottom, very basic. This is like, it's if you're, if, and that's something else Elena said the other day is, how many times have you said to somebody, oh, I saw the funniest thing on Instagram, or oh my gosh, I saw the craziest thing on TikTok. You have no idea who the creator was who put it out there, but you remember the content. That's not what you want to do, right? That's not what you're trying to do. You want people to know you, not your content. That's the goal here. And then engaging, of course, with your community, direct messages, comments, discussions, engage, respond to every single comment. Open the door for conversation in everything you do. Because when you do focus on building tight-knit communities, these people become your super fans, and your super fans are the ones who help you grow because they connect you with like-minded people they're already connected with. It's got a compounding effect that's going to grow your business. This is a second column here. Building community is equals creating resonance with people on a human level. So if you can't always, depending again on where you are in your journey, you can't always depend only on your own content to grow your community, right? So be proactive and go find yourself some friends online. There are a lot of ways to do this. And here's just one really easy way to do that is to think about creators who you follow or really, or really think they're doing a good job or whatever it is, who have audiences that are similar to your own or similar to the audience you want to have. Start engaging with them daily. Engage with their content, mention them in your content, ask them questions, connect with them on a one-to-one level, share your opinions on what they're saying. You're going to become a presence in their communities, and then you're going to have access to their audience as well. An easy way to do this is just make a list and spend 5 minutes every day doing that, and just interacting, engaging, making friends. It's making friends. That's all it is. Next, very quickly, is overcoming common pitfalls. And this is, nothing, there's no rocket science to this, but it's just good to say and good to just to put it out there, right? Don't overthink it. Just post it. Done well is better than perfect. It's if it aligns with what you're trying to do, if it is a positive influence on the brand you're trying to build in the space, post it. Just post it. Who cares? Number 2, seeking validation. Don't do it for other people. The most common reason that people don't do this is because they're scared of what their friends and family are going to say. I'm not lying. It's true. Like, people are going to think I'm XYZ, or, I don't want my cousin to see this because at Thanksgiving, they're just going to tell me how stupid I look. Whatever. Who cares? Do it for you. Okay. The funny thing is most people who are like that and don't, who ignore everybody else, but the people who do say ugly things about whatever you're doing, if they just choose to do that, they're going to come back in 2 months and say, well, how did you do it? Because I want to do it too. All right. Inconsistency. Don't be inconsistent. If you show up and then you don't show up, then you show up, then you don't show up. It's not going to work. You just have to be consistent. Stick to a schedule. If you need a break, take a break, but tell your people you're going to take a break. Put it up there in the top of your thing and your feed and pin it there. I need a break. I'm off for a week. I need to find my family, whatever it is. Number 4, talking about everything. Don't talk about everything. Stay focused on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build. Stay focused on your mission statement and what you're trying to, and who you're trying to connect with, and it will work. And then the 5th one, not engaging, right? If you don't engage, it's not going to work. So make friends, be nice, be good. That's how you do it. You just be nice and make friends. All right, next steps. And this is,
sorry,
go ahead, Elaine.
One thing about the common pitfalls, I would say the number one thing, if you don't do anything at all, it's the inconsistency. I would say is number 1. Is when I was building my brand, I posted every single day on the dot, 6 p.m. for 2 years. So that's the number 1 thing. If you don't do anything else, you have to be consistent.
I would say that that consistency is just as, if not important, it may be even more important than the actual content you're putting out there.
Agree.
All right, so here we kind of try to put together a checklist for you that you can again, you're going to get this in your inbox after we're done. But this is just going to kind of give you a checklist of things you need to think about and have up your sleeve to really get this and put this on overdrive for yourself. Um, we don't need to go through this at all, but I just know it's there. Because I wanted to have at least a 5 minutes or so to answer any questions people had at the end. And I'm sorry I went over just a little bit, but I timed it okay. So if you do have any questions, please pop them in there. I know we went over a lot of stuff, and hopefully it made sense to you. The biggest things and takeaways here is for me that I want you to have is that you don't have to have a huge audience to do this. You don't have to have an existing audience to do this. You can do this starting from nothing. Two is everyone is unique and everyone has things that they're bringing to the table that are unique and valuable to an audience. You just have to make sure you know who that audience is and what it is you're trying to accomplish with them. And then three is showing up as yourself and being vulnerable and being willing to to share your real self with your people, and it's going to work for you. Elaine, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I want to make sure that people get their questions answered
Okay.
in the feed, because we really do value that interaction, to make sure that, we like, if you're showing up and staying for the full
Excuse
webinar,
me.
you're getting the full value of Martha's brain right now. So yes, please drop your questions. And yeah, we will, as usual, have the playback. So we will be sending this. So you'll be able to, get this whole checklist as well as the extra content that Martha's made specifically for you guys, in regards to, the previous slide.
If you don't have any questions, did you find it helpful?
Yeah, drop compliments instead then. We love those. Okay. Miguela said,
Mission statement's the hardest part. A few tips to help. I would say on the mission statement, I would say take a step back, go back to those kind of brand elements. Make sure you have real clarity on those first. And I think once you have clarity on those, your mission statement will come pretty easily.
Yeah. And honestly, like as Martha said earlier, ask your friends, ask your family, ask the people who are closest to you, and get that feedback. If sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves, which is why we might, feel trapped within our heads. But when you pull your peeps and you're seeing like the same consistent things, like the top 3 things that like all of them say, that could give you a really good direction on where to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think it's a good point I think it was Missy just put in there to go back and review my brand. Now is a great time to go back and try to have a very objective, go back and look at your social profiles, look at whatever your website, whatever it is. Can someone, like we said at the very beginning, can someone identify within 3 seconds what you do and why they should be there? If they can't, then you need to revise it.
Okay, Archie had a quick question. What are your thoughts on paying posts or to boost posts or pages?
Some friends who have second accounts for other things, I see them pay to promote their pages or posts. I think it depends. I think there's a time and a place for that. I think it really, I think it depends on, it really depends on, I don't know who the other friends are, what kind of things they're trying to promote, but I know that, there's definitely a time and a place for that. Yeah.
I think you're going to learn more from boosting is great, but actually you're going to learn way more from ads. Like if you turn your post into an ad and then you have like the A/B testing, just from a pure marketing standpoint, you're going to learn a lot more than if you just boost your content. Just FYI.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the especially if you're trying to drive traffic to another place, that's a really good way to do that, or attract a new audience to something. If you can be targeted in who you're reaching on those paid boost or those paid ads, whatever it is you're doing, there's a place for it, but not all the time and not for everything.
Yeah. And then Renee had moving from treating social media as a personal photo album to a community is where I feel a bit stuck. Do you have any tips on that?
So, yes, uh, that's a big question, but yes, okay. So I think what I would start with you for Renee. I think this is going to be really helpful for you, because I think if you understand really, right now, you, like you said, you're using it as a photo album. You're just kind of posting stuff out there as for somebody who wants to come see it, or someone who's Facebook stalking you or whatever. Um, Transitioning that over to a community, right? That's when you need to say, okay, why am I here and what am I trying to do here? Like, if you have a goal in mind of what you're trying to do, your content's going to start to reflect that goal. And the idea of building other, or asking others to start engaging with your content is important here too. Always, when you're in the post the descriptions that you're going to write in your post and whatever, or on the actual content itself, in the conversation, right, with like a conversation starter, not necessarily a call to action. So what do you think? What's your opinion? What's your experience been? Asking people to engage with your content will be a good first step on that too.
Yeah. And honestly, Renee, after you finish, like, basically these next steps, defining, like, thinking through all your goals and stuff like that, let's set up a call and then we'll talk through it and make sure that you're on the right track. But we are out of time. Thank you guys so much for spending a whole hour with us talking about personal branding. We are always available to you via meeting to talk through things. And thank you guys so much for being a part of our community. You will be receiving this in your inboxes. And we just appreciate your time. And thank you so much, Martha. You are incredible, such a core part of our team. And we love Mama Martha. When you email her, you can say that, Mama Martha, I need help.
It's not because I'm old, I promise.
No, it's because she's nurturing and she is just the warmth, the heart in our team.
You too, Elaine.
Yes, thank you. So, well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys hopefully on our next creator call. All right,
Thanks, everybody, for coming.